So we'll talk about the final first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the in-class group assignment. So the final will be a slightly easier version of the in-class group assignment. Okay. So the final will have 5 MCQs, and the reason there's 5 is because folks have complained in the past that the MCQs are difficult and require a lot of judgment and interpretation, so they're only going to be 5 of them, right? So this is your technical knowledge test. There'll be a short case, so if you guys remember the short case from C10, it's more like a short answer question. So in C10, you guys will remember that the short answer question was about the difference between an audit, review, and a notice rate or compilation engagement. So similar type of short answer question, not to tell you what it's about. It's definitely not about audits, reviews, and compilation engagements, that much we can tell you. But similar stuff, right? Not overly complex, use a little bit of judgment. It will be from stuff that's after the midterm. Okay? So that much I can tell you. Then there'll be the case. So the case, again, like I said, will be a simpler version of what the in-class group assignment is. The in-class group assignment was, I want to say, a more complicated case, required lots of people to put their heads together. This will be a simplified version of that. Okay. We'll not be talking about any farming or crickets or whatever was going on. So just for background, and we can kind of try. So any questions on the final before we kind of talk about these? Yes.
Is the short case going to be a comparison?
I cannot tell you that.
So for the large case, how many pages?
You can write as many pages as you want.
No, I mean the case.
Oh, how many pages? 6 or 7 maybe. That's my guess. I can double check. But yeah, it won't be 9, I don't think. Right? But it's gonna be easy enough that you should not be struggling for time. Right? Just like in C10, the final, like nobody was struggling for time. So same deal with you. Nobody's ever come and said, I had no time to finish writing my case. Okay, and we've been doing this for a while now. There was a bunch of people that left early. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, you guys should not be strapped for time. This is not like cost accounting or financial accounting where you're still trying to start reading the case and you're out of time. Okay, it's not going to be any time. There should be plenty of time. Okay. Any other questions on the final? Tuesday night, 7 to 10, I think. Okay, is that right? To move that. Now we're back.
3 hours?
3 hours, yeah. We won't get a
vacation.
I don't remember. It should be up there. Okay, so let's talk about the in-class group assignments. In-class group assignment had, so the in-class group assignment had 4 requirements, and you'll see this when you see your marking key. There was the audit planning memo, which all of you should have easily scored marks on. For all those of you who came to class, I gave you more hints on what to have written in the audit planning memo. There was the special reports. So I think the catch with the special reports was one, COPA required an audit level of assurance, and you required a review level of assurance. So you had to pick 2 different types of special reports. But ultimately, when you're looking at special reports, there's always the option to do specified procedures. Okay, so in practice as well, what happens is somebody will come to you and say, we need you to report on this, this, and this, and tell us that to an audit level of certainty, this is correct. Right? So an example I gave to someone was, somebody can come and tell you, can you give me an audit level of assurance that Mohammed wears a red shirt every day? Okay? The only way to do that is for somebody to come and see me every day wearing a red shirt. Right? But, can you go back to that person and say, well, if I was to tell you I meet Mohammed once a week, and every time I meet him he's wearing a red shirt, does that give you enough comfort that he's always wearing a red shirt? Right? So that's a difference between an audit level of assurance and doing a specified procedure. Right? You can do very, very targeted specified procedures to get to pretty much the same outcome as an audit. The reason practitioners like doing specified procedures is because they don't have to actually give assurance on that. They just say, I looked at 10 transactions and this is what I found. Right? You interpret the results of what I found. Right? So instead of saying, I'm giving you audit level of assurance that this happened, they're saying, I looked at some transactions and this is what I saw. Right? So in examples of, are they feeding organic feed or something like that? Right? Can you, to an audit level of certainty, give assurance on that? Maybe. You know, you have to go through every receipt. You're going to have to look at every bag of feed to get to that level of assurance. Instead, can you do a specified procedure that says, or a couple of different procedures that say, we went into the shelters or wherever it is that they keep their feed and looked at the labels on the feed and saw an organic logo or sticker, or we identified that it was this brand of feed, which is a known organic brand. Right? That could probably give the same assurance to the Coke or Moo or whatever it is, that hey, these guys use organic feed. Or we looked at their purchase ledger and looked at all the invoices for feeds, and they were from this company, which is a known organic feed manufacturer. Right? See how one is an audit, one is a specified procedure that gives the other side lots of comfort on the same thing, but that's the same thing you probably couldn't do by giving an audit opinion. So if we weren't there every day, we don't know whether every single day they used organic feed or not. Right? So when you look at specified procedures or when you look at special reports, there is the reports that actually give assurance, and then there's specified procedures that can do some of the same things. So in terms of recommendations, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the recommendation was for both of them to do a specified procedure. Okay? Not that you lose a ton of marks, because recommendations only get 1 or 2 marks. Right? So if I'm not mistaken, the key had 18 available marks for the special report required, of which 12 was the maximum. And the case was out of 40. So it's not a deal breaker. You're looking at like 25 to 30% if you want. So, and you probably, if you did the discussion, for those of you who showed up to class, which is most of you guys, you talked about what you needed to write when you were looking at the types of special reports. Alright, so it shouldn't be surprises there. Third required was a research element. So the research element was right out of my day job. Okay, so I sent you to the FRAS Canada website to go and find the active project for ASPE on agriculture. So the agriculture project for the Accounting Standards Board has been going on for a number of years. In 2015, they issued a discussion paper with principles on what they wanted to do. So if you identified that a discussion paper was issued in 2015, you probably got a mark. Also somewhere, I did tell you, or I did indicate in the case that the who is the board getting advice from. So the board set up what's called the Agriculture Advisory Group to give them advice on specialized agriculture requirements. So if you identify the AAG, then you got a mark for that. They had their first full meeting very recently, and in the meeting they were talking about things like, whether an animal is for sale or for breeding, how to measure bearer animals. I didn't know that plants could be used as bearer plants, so plants could grow other plants. So they were talking about accounting for that. They talked about insect farming, which is where I got the idea of the crickets from. They were talking about measurement principles. So in the case I asked you to identify if they recommended any overall measurement principles, and that would have given you a mark. And then probably for writing these other, 1 or 2 relevant things, like when the exposure draft is expected to be issued, which is Q1 of 2018, you get a mark for that. And then any other relevant point, you get another mark for that. Somebody called me after the fact to ask if you had to reference. No, you did not have to reference where you found this information. You would not lose marks if you didn't reference the website over there. Okay, so that was your research element. The fourth one was the pervasive or hidden required. So those of you who came to class, I told you there was one in there. The hidden required was to do with fraud. So if you didn't identify the fraud, that's okay, because it wasn't a 10 marks. Somebody is very upset because he asked me what the fraud is indicator, and I didn't tell you if it was fraud or not. Client acceptance was also there, but client acceptance was part of the audit planning memo, which is another question the same individual asked me. So he got all of them, probably didn't write them because he was miserable. Sorry. So there's 4 triggers for the fraud in the case. So one of the triggers was somewhere in the case that said that the accountant was a very unusual character or something like that. Whenever they start talking about the character of a person, that's usually a trigger that something is wrong. So when I was writing the UP and stuff like that, there was tons of cases where they would give them funky names. You know, they'd call them Shady McShady or something. Like, you know, ridiculous names like that. And they're like, that's a trigger that that person's probably committing fraud. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's pretty lame. But okay, so that was one. A second indicator was the kickback that they got from CTI. So that was an indicator of fraud. There was a third one where somewhere in the case it said that they've noticed that their cash flow situation is much worse than they would have expected, even though there was a downturn. So if you actually open the statements, you would have noticed that payroll increased significantly from last year to this year, even though the owners were taking less money, there was no full-time bookkeeper, and they were reducing staff. So if you put that together, you'd be like, why did payroll increase by 100 grand, even though, you know, like what's going on here? So that was a very, very subtle trigger. And then I forget what the 4th trigger was. It slips my mind right now. But there was 4 triggers on how to identify it. So now that I tell you these triggers, do you feel like if you knew about it, you probably have now identified it? Do you see where the fraud might have been? Yes, I know. Some head nods. How many of you did actually write about fraud? Yeah. Okay, so none of you got it. That's okay. That's okay. How many of you wrote about client acceptance? He was right on it. He was like, is it fraud? Because I feel like it's fraud. Is this paragraph, right?
Because I didn't find it other evidence.
Oh, you didn't find the other triggers, yeah. So I told you there will be other triggers. So now that I tell you about the other triggers.
Yeah, like I read over like 2 times and then I didn't find
So now that I told you, if you read it again, you'd be like, oh, I totally see it now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I wanted you to feel. Right. That was the intent. Now that's to say, if you didn't identify the fraud required at all, and you scored maximum score, including the bonus, you could probably still score 100% of this case. Like not 80, but 100% of the case without getting the fraud required altogether. So it wasn't mission critical, but I wanted to get you guys to start thinking about hidden requireds again, because in C10, you guys would all just dump every possible variation of a hidden required, whether it was applicable or not. Now I want you to start thinking about them again, because you're finishing the second part of the audit course, right? And when you go do your professional exams, these show up more and more. And they're really, really subtle when you see them in professional exams. Like what I gave you, it'll be even more subtle than that. Right? So you'll pick up on it the more practice you get, but now that you kind of get some ideas on how people write about hidden requireds, you'll be able to identify them when you see them. Okay? So remember, shady McShady. Okay? You see these funky names? Fraud, definitely fraud. Any thoughts on assignment number 2? Like anything you found unusual, difficult to deal with? Group work was okay. We need to encourage group work to some degree. Any other feedback or thoughts? This is our last lecture, so yes.
How do you count crickets?
How do you count crickets? Good question. So there's no official standard yet. But the way the standard is going to go is their discussion is on whether or not you're supposed to consider inventory as a group or you're supposed to consider individual units. So especially with insect farms, for example, you consider them in batches, right? So when I was writing about swarms of crickets, a swarm would be considered one unit of inventory. And I put in the footnote because that's more complicated than you would actually be expected to know, which is why I spelled it out in the footnote and said 1 unit of inventory is 1 swarm, right? So even when they look at cow herds, for example, they would consider a herd to be 1 unit of inventory. Now, I get, really happy talking about this stuff, and the rest of you probably don't care, but like that's really significant because, if you take 1 cow out, another cow is born in the herd, so like how do you keep track of that? So it's actually easier to just consider the herd as 1 unit. Right? So that's where they're heading with that kind of thing. It's the same as like when you're doing inventory for nuts and bolts. So like they actually don't track inventory by individual nails. They'll track them by boxes of nails. And that's how they would do it. We've got 100 boxes of 2-inch nails. It won't be like each box has this many nails in it because it's in the tube. Yeah? Right. Any other thoughts or questions? Yes.
So what's the byproduct of cricket?
I have no idea. I have to throw in the word byproduct somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah. There's definitely something, but I don't remember what it was. Right? Yeah, maybe it's fertilizer. I wouldn't be surprised if it was fertilizer. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Did you guys enjoy reading that case? Is that no, yes, maybe? It took me hours to kind of think about it, so. Okay. Nobody cares. That's okay. That's okay. Any other questions before we call it a night? Thoughts, concerns about the midterm, final, assignment 1, assignment 2? You guys enjoyed the class? So one question that I did have is last semester we had concerns raised around folks thought that the testing was not reflective of what they were learning in class. And they felt blindsided by what was being tested, right? Which is different than in C10 where you knew exactly what to expect and then you would do your best to deliver it. So we tried to do very, very consciously is to prepare you in a manner that you know what to expect on testing material, right? So did you think that the testing was reflective to some degree of what you were learning in class? It was more application, right? So you learn the theory and then make you apply it in the test. But did you think that was, like you were not surprised by anything you saw? Yes, no, comment on it. Any thoughts? Nothing. All right, so mixed reactions. That's okay. Okay, some surprises still. Okay, we did do our best to prepare you and kind of give you insight into what to expect. So we did that. Okay, so if you guys have nothing else for me, we'll try and call it a night a little bit quicker than I thought we'd get through the material. I'll be around for a bit in whatever I see 273 for the next half an hour or so. So if you do need anything, please do shoot me a message and we'll go from there. All right, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. This is our last semester teaching, just so you guys know. So, we did our best. Hopefully you guys learned something. You guys will definitely, and I can guarantee this for a fact, will be better than most other schools at audit when you go and do your professional exams. I can guarantee this for a fact. Right? You do a good job of preparing you for the audit. And the reason I know that is because I mark for them and I see the people, and depending on what schools they're coming from, and the folks coming out of this school do well in audit. Whether they do well in accounting or not, it's a completely different story. But audit, you guys are really good at, especially when planning memos come up, the other schools are nowhere near as good. Maybe Schulich and Waterloo are somewhere in the right ballpark, but you guys are very good at planning memos because we condition you to be very, very good at writing planning memos, which is the biggest part of audit. Like that's really the biggest part of audit. These special topics for audit, if you understood the theory, you'll be very good at it. If you didn't understand the theory, it will be very hard to pick it up once you pass this course, right? Because you will pass the course. Right? It's a matter of whether you retain the stuff after you pass the course. All right? But you will be better than most of your peers in audit. That much I can guarantee. All It's been a pleasure. We'll stick around for a bit. If you do need anything between now and the final, feel free to email us. There's no dedicated office hours from now until the finals. If you do need time from us, just let us know and we'll set it up. All right. Thank you. Have a good night.